private equity is buying up trade businesses like HVAC, plumbing, electrical companies, doling out big checks to home service companies and adding them to their portfolios. Joining us now is Charlie Boyce, Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric CEO. Charlie, thanks for being with us. So we saw this story, and it really struck me that private equity has gotten into your business so significantly. Now, you've got a big business yourself, but you're competing against these guys. How do you do it?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, private equity has been, very active in our space the last couple of years, continues to be. I'm third generation in the trades. My grandfather had a company that my dad owned and operated for a number of years. Private equity actually bought their company, which was a great exit for my family, which was good to see my father. But yeah, to your point, we compete with them. We've kind of doubled down and chose not to do a private equity deal, but private equity is very, very active in our space.
Where do you get your pipeline for talent?
Yeah, very hard. I mean, something that's been talked about a lot, over the last couple of years is the labor shortage. And so, there's trade schools, there's kind of the traditional routes. I think that, over the last couple of years, you've seen a lot of companies kind of invest in and start doing their own trade schools. So we have our own in-house training program, our own in-house school. So it's trade schools, maybe community colleges, or people are just doing it themselves.
Wall Street Journal, Charlie, just wrote a piece about this that piqued our interest, and they were highlighting the fact that people can go into these professions and become millionaires. It's something that people like Mike Rowe have been talking about for a while. Now, you see what's happening on college campuses and the brainwashing and the kinds of curriculums kids are learning, and you wonder, why would I spend all this money to go get that kind of education? But still, we see this stigma sometimes around starting your own business in these kinds of trades. I mean, what's the tipping point where that starts to evaporate and people just really start to get excited about this? Because I hear you can become a millionaire, and I'm thinking to myself, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think the narrative for a long period of time was you had to go to college for 4 years to get a good education or have a good career. I think Mike especially has been doing a great job over the last couple of years kind of hoping to change that narrative. I think it's starting to shift. I myself went to a 4-year school. I was born and raised in the trades, didn't necessarily want to be in the trades. It's not that sexy or glamorous. I think that's finally starting to change. There's 400 people inside of our business. There's a lot of really good HVAC, plumbing, electrical technicians that are doing very, very well for themselves. There's 6-figure jobs in the trades. They don't have college debt. There are really, really good careers in the trades.
Charlie, when you're talking to a young person and they're trying to figure out what they should do, what do you tell them to look for? Like, if you like this, if you're good at this, if you want to do this, you ought to come into our field. What do you say to them, Charlie?
Yeah, college or a 4-year degree is not for everybody. In our business, if you're mechanically inclined, if you're great at customer service, talking to people, taking care of stuff, working with your hands, and you want a good career, like I said, we have a lot of guys that are in their early or mid-20s that are making 6 figures a year with no college debt. So there are real careers that exist in the trades, and the narrative is finally starting to. We still got a long ways to go. Labor shortage is a real thing, but that narrative is starting to change.
Charlie, do you have like a summer program where I could just send my kids right down to you and you could get them going on like a summer of HVAC